Hello everyone, it's Lisa Turner here from Psycademy, and you're very welcome to this Facebook Live. As always, if you have any questions, pop them in the question box. If you're listening to the replay, I will answer later. So today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this. So this is really what, there's kind of like a download of what my guides wanted you to know, what they thought would help you. So this is going to be kind of a bit of a mixture of topics, and one is desire, sales, and love and relationships, because after all, it's nearly Valentine's Day. Was it tomorrow, next day? I don't know. I don't really pay any attention. So where should we start? Let's start with sales and desire. So one of the things I have been noticing and kind of channeling in is there are different ways of selling. So the first thing I want to get out there is that there's nothing wrong with selling. Selling is basically a way of saying, I got this thing, it's pretty cool. Do you want it or what? And there are things that people do in the sales process. And what I'm going to share with you today is I think why people have a lot of hang-ups about selling and why a lot of people don't like being sold to, especially if you are a spiritual person. So let me explain. So I had an experience recently where somebody was trying to get me to behave in a particular way. Basically, and it wasn't just a sales thing. I was actually, I was kind of part of so they basically wanted me to behave in a particular way. And I've had it in this instant and in other instances. So let's take an example of sales. So in this sales context, this is where somebody, it's like they've got this thing and it kind of sounds interesting. So you have a conversation and you start to learn more about it. And during the process of this conversation, I became aware of this kind of it was like a feeling of energetic hooks latching into me. And so what I did was I immediately got this, hang on, there's something here that I'm not really sure what's going on. I'm just going to take a step back and kind of just observe before I really get hooked in. So I stepped back and I kind of went meta to myself, and I'm still talking and answering, asking the questions and answering the questions, but I'm observing my emotional response, but so I'm still having the emotional response, but I'm observing it from a more observer perspective. What I realized was that I started to observe the emotions that were attempted to be triggered in me, and they were what I would label as pretty low-level emotions. And had I allowed myself to fully go into it and be fully present in that, I might have got swept away with it. So the emotions that they were trying to hook into were, and I've written them down. So it was greed, lust, pride, and there's a little bit of sentimental love. And I wasn't aware of feeling all of them, but I was aware that there was an attempt to trigger them. And I've also observed this in other people. So I've been in the room where, you go to those conferences where you're in the room and the person on the stage does a whole bunch, like it's like a bit of a pitch fest, and person after person comes up on stage and they try and sell you something and they try and sell you something. And I've observed that the emotions that they try and trigger are and they're not negative emotions. They're not the emotions that we would classify as negative, like anger, sadness, fear, hurt, and guilt. They would just be what I classify as being low in terms of where they calibrate. And I was observing this, and I didn't buy the thing, and I didn't do the behavior that he wanted me to do because I was meta to it. I was like, in that observational perspective, and I noticed he was really trying to hook into, I'm an information junkie, and he was trying to sell me on, you'll know more stuff than other people. And there'll be other people who won't know the things that you're going to know if you do this thing. And kind of as soon as I was aware of that, I went meta to it, and then I didn't do the behavior. But it got me thinking, and I started to channel it on this. And I thought I'd share this message with you. So in the past and now we've been in this, it's been present in our society that the vast majority of sales have been undertaken by causing somebody to step into a base level emotion, and it's one of the emotions that would be triggered, but that we would label as being of ego, greed, lust, sentimental love, pride. That's another one, pride. And they're not negative emotions, they just don't calibrate very highly. And when you purchase or make decisions, and this is not just buying and selling, selling and buying. This is any decision you make, the decision about where to live, what kind of car to have, what kind of clothes to wear. When they're made from the basis of these lower level emotions, you're not acting from your true higher level desires. Now, those of you who are coaches, wanting to be coaches, this is really important for you, because we're going to be, so what my guides want you to know, what no one guide wants you to know, is that we're moving from that arena where that's going to be okay and where that's going to work. As more and more people awaken, what will happen is it will be more and more appropriate for you to present your offer, whether it's a coaching program, a spiritual development program, whether it's, a new car, whatever it is you sell. You're going to be encouraged to present your offer, and it would serve you to present your offer from the basis of the highest level of desire, that what you are offering will enable somebody to fulfill their highest level desire, what is in everyone's highest good, will enable them to live their life's purpose. And what you're also being encouraged to do is and the message from my guides is also to be okay about selling. Because what a lot of spiritual people have done is this. It's like they've observed, whoa, there's a lot of what you might call hard sell. And by hard sell, it's tapping into those lower level desires and lower level emotions. That's what we mean by hard sell. So a lot of spiritual people have done has gone, whoa, hard sell, low level desires, don't like it, selling is bad. And so then they don't sell, and then they end up broke, and then they can't live their life's purpose. And it's a huge way. It's not just because they end up not being able to do the things they want to do from a personal perspective, but they end up not serving the people who they're here to serve and living that bigger vision. So my invitation and my guide's invitation to you is be okay about selling, but be present to that you are inviting people to respond and to connect with their highest level desires. So for example, on our spiritual practitioner training, we've just closed the doors on that now, so if you wanted to join, it's probably a bit late. And on our initiation program, we don't sell because, hey, you're going to learn a bunch of stuff that no one knows. We don't sell that on the basis of you're going to be really super powerful and be able to, zap people with your superpowers, which I know some spiritual training, it comes across a little bit like that. I don't know if that is what they're doing, but it can come across as, oh, you're going to learn some magical secret that's going to make you super powerful. Instead, what we say is, well, if you're here on the planet to help the species awaken, to help the species evolve, to help the human race and help individuals become bigger, better, more evolved, more awakened. Hi, Audrey. If that's part of your purpose, then the tools and techniques and skills that you will learn on Spiritual Practitioner will definitely help you do that. There's nothing, and the great thing about the way we sell this and the way we present this is, and the content of it is like and this sort of comes back to, a lot of people go, wow, Lisa, you're so amazing. It's natural. I can understand it. I am amazing. We had this conversation with my initiates just earlier, and we all agreed I was amazing. And it was good that we had a little laugh about that. But it's not that I'm amazing. It's that the techniques I teach and that you can learn are amazing. So there's nothing amazing about me. It's just in the technique. It's just the technique. So if you're, so our invitation, my guide's invitation is, when you are selling something, tap into, connect to your highest desire, your life's purpose, and present your offering in the light of how this will facilitate someone else's life's purpose. Oh, somebody doesn't like that message. I'm getting a real in my head whenever someone hears that, either in the future right now or down the line. I think it's someone in the future who's watched this. Okay, that's cool. So then let's come on to love. So it's nearly Valentine's Day, right? And a lot of people are going, oh my God, I'm going to be alone on Valentine's Day. You know where that comes from? That comes from a low-level desire of fear. It's not that you want to, and also, it's not that you want to be with a particular person. It's that you just don't want to be alone. Like, that's the fear of being alone. So so a lot of people who really yearn to be with and find the one. Let's talk to that for a minute. Because this is it is almost like it's a lower level desire. It comes from the idea that You're not okay on your own. You're not perfect on your own. There's something wrong with you if you're not in a normal, stable, monogamous relationship, right? And actually, what if, so the problem with this is, if there's one person A goes around going, I've got to be with someone because I'm not okay on my own. And there's someone else going around going, I've got to be with someone because I'm not okay on my own. And these two people get together and go, whew, that was lucky because we were nearly on our own. So they kind of, these two half people try and form a relationship where they try and get okay with the other person. What they try and do is there's an attempt to get from the other person what they experience as being missing within them. And then they perceive that as love, but it's kind of like a sentimental love. It's not true higher self connection love. It's the love of, it's a love that comes from need. And if, like, one of the reasons that I see, I have a lot of people come to me going like, when will I find, asking for a psychic reading, when will I find the one? When will I find the one? When will they show up? And it's like, as soon as you no longer need it, because there's something very uninspiring and not particularly attractive about somebody who is needy. So what you might at best gather around you is somebody else who is needy, or what you might get is, and what you might repel are people who are truly whole and magic and amazing. And they're probably the people that you might be attracted to, because there's something incredibly attractive about somebody who is whole, who is absolutely okay, who needs nothing from you. Obviously I have an amazing daughter because she's my daughter and I think she's amazing, and there's no bias there. I'm completely unbiased in that. No, I know I'm biased, but she's pretty cool, my daughter. And one of the things she does is she gets on with, there's somebody she's a friend of hers, got a very autistic brother. And she was like, I don't understand it. Other people don't get on with him. And like, I'm okay. Like, we just, And I said, what I think it is? It's because my daughter often says that, she often describes us, she's like, because I'm really socially awkward, and I actually think there's something about her like what she labels as being socially awkward is it's kind of an honesty and a truth there. And there's absolutely no expectations from other people. So she can be, so one of the things I think autistic people, and I know nothing about autistic people, this is just my observation, not that I know nothing, it's just, that's not my expertise. But my experience is that they can't pick up the clues as to what's wanted from other people, and they try and meet those desires of other people without really knowing, and so they get confused, and that's very stressful for them. But with my daughter, because she doesn't have any expectations, or if she does, she just says, well, do you want me to do this? Or shall I do that? Or shall we do this? That there's no real kind of this hidden expectation. So she doesn't really have those. And so people tend to feel quite comfortable around her, despite what she might label as socially awkwardness, which I should probably got that from me because I'm incredibly I don't know if it's socially awkward, I just don't know the rules. I was like, I didn't know there was a rule about that. But sometimes people will tell me, I guess. I figure if there's a rule, people will tell me. What would you say? Buy a cake and celebrate being on your own. Yeah. And the thing is, you don't need to do that just because it's Valentine's Day. I mean, personally, I'm in favor of buying cakes on any day of the week because I like cake. I think cake is, quite frankly, it is proof of the existence of God, right? And if God hadn't wanted me to eat cake, she wouldn't have invented cake, right? So any day is a good cake day, as far as I'm concerned. And celebrate yourself, not just being on your own. Yeah, Audrey, right. But just celebrate yourself, celebrate your amazingness, and find what you seek from within first so that you no longer need it. And then that is very attractive to others. One final thing I just want to say about this. So one of the things about being very spiritually connected is that it is very attractive. And this is kind of almost like a little warning for people who get into, spiritual people who get into, find themselves into interesting and not necessarily appropriate relationships. So one of the things I've noticed as I have awakened more and more, and I've observed this with my clients and my students as well, is that what happens is they awaken, their energy rises, and it's very, very attractive to others. And so they tend, other people who aren't, it's like they can't see up here, So they'll see love, but they'll see it at like this level. Yeah. And so your energy might be here, but they can't see it. They'll think it's here, and which is kind of like the level of maybe normal love. And so they'll think, oh my God, I'm attracted to that person. There must be the one, I must be meant to be with them. And so spiritual people often get propositioned by people who are not as awake. And it's very tempting to either trip over into ego with that, or to actually think yourself. The spiritually awakened person gets confused by all these people making propositions, and they think, well, maybe I am meant to be with that person or that person. Maybe that's what I'm meant to do. So and like, there is no meant to. That's the first thing. You're meant to do exactly what you want to do. You're meant to be doing exactly what you are doing. Otherwise you wouldn't be doing it. Now that's something to take away. So Denise says, thank you. Leslie's joined. Hi, Leslie. Audrey says, every day is a party. Yeah. Party of one, party of whoever. At the moment, we have a party in my house this evening of teenagers because it is half term. What fun. Audrey says, you've changed a lot of my thinking. Thank you for that. You're welcome. That's thank you. That means a lot to me, because that's kind of like my life's purpose here is to expand people's thinking. So let's go back to the sales, right? So with the sales, and we talked about tapping into low-level desires and tapping into greed. And the thing is, I think it's really easy as a spiritual person to go into judgment. And although, the only thing that's wrong is judgment, right? The only thing we should judge is judgment itself. Or maybe we shouldn't even judge that. Anyway, judgment doesn't always serve us, I think, is a better way of thinking it. And it's only like, rather than judge it as good and bad, judge it as working or not working. But it's very easy to see somebody selling from the basis of low-level desires and go, ooh, they must be greedy or selfish or whatever. Rather than doing that, like the act of a highly evolved being would be to reach and seek understanding. So ask yourself, whenever you observe someone behaving in a way that you might be tempted to label it as bad, instead label it as, or ask the question, is this going to enable them to achieve their goal, their aims, which is probably to experience more love in their life, to experience more connection, more wholeness. And if somebody is selling from the basis of triggering greed or from greed, then rather than judging them for doing that, instead seek understanding. And you can either ask them, or you could just ask yourself. Just ask yourself, okay, well, I wonder what must be present in their universe. I wonder what they must believe about themselves or the world in order for them to think this is the best way of behaving. This is the way I will experience more love and more connection in my life. And then to think, oh, wow, they're really, just be out of judgment of it and just be in a place of, okay, observation. And the way to change them, if that's what you desire, if that's your purpose, is to do it by projecting onto them wholeness and finding within yourself whatever you can find, wherever you can find you. Remember, perception is projection. So if somebody is doing that and you feel triggered by it, that's the clue. Not that they're doing it, but that you feel triggered by it. If that's the case, then go into your space of, into yourself and go, okay, so where am I doing this? Where am I not experiencing wholeness? Where am I not experiencing wholeness? And find that and reconnect that. Whether you release what's stopping you experience wholeness, negative emotions, limiting beliefs, or whether you reconnect to your sense of source. Because that's how we change the planet. That's how we change the world, starting with ourselves. So, Leslie says, watch from the beginning. All sorts happening here. Lol. Cool. Good. I hope the all sorts are good all sorts. Alrighty. So, till next time, lots and lots of love. Bye for now. Bye, everyone.